If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others.
Grab your popcorn and sit back.
Jump the gun. Oh, no, give me more than that. Okay, go this way. That was dumb. We are.
How could I tell you when nobody wants to? Your favorite words I will show.
Happy Friday to everyone in the sports universe. This is the AM Drive, and I am live. For our regular co-host, Aaron Crouch, who is in Las Vegas, Nevada, I am your host today, once again, Michael Carvelis in Savannah-ish, Georgia. Aaron, of course, will not be able to be on the show again today. We wish him the best as he's got some personal things to take care of. But hey, I'm excited for today. And yes, Aaron has provided his AM Drive 5. AM Drive 5 is their best football bets of the weekend. And we introduced money lines this year too. So anything under 200 in terms of favorites is fair game. And Aaron has provided us the list once again. I've got mine as well. I'm 7-3. He's 5-5 for those wondering. So we're excited. Head to MikeandAaronDrive.com for the best way to support our show. When you go to MikeandAaronDrive.com, it's our link tree with a great name on top of it. Thanks to Aaron paying for that domain. You can find great things like our sponsors, our socials, our YouTube, where 61 people have now subscribed, and of course, our shop, where you get awesome hoodies like this that come in red, black, all kind of colors. Phone cases available for all kind of phones. This is the iPhone 12 mini. That's a terrible phone, by the way. And mugs. They also come in black edition. I did not get one yet, but I really want to. And of course, the tumblers. We call them hot and cold takes. I call it a hot and cold takes. I thought it was clever. But no, MikeandAaronDrive.com in case you forget any of our sponsors, or if you want to support the show by just following the socials or going to our shop. Thursday night football recap here. The 49ers defeated the Giants 30-12. And this game went about how I expected, except for the final score being as bad as it was. This was a good game going to the fourth quarter. I thought the Giants would ride the momentum from last week. I felt like they could keep the game within 10 or 9 or whatever. It jumped up to 10.5 before kickoff. And the under stayed put, under 43, and 49ers covered. So I was wrong on both fronts. But in terms of the way the game went, I was like, okay, Giants, they don't have an offensive line. Andrew Thomas was out for this game. I did not know that was going to happen. Like, how am I supposed to know that was going to happen before game time? I didn't see any indication of that, and suddenly he's out. Saquon's already out when you're seeing another injury on his lower body. It's a knee sprain or whatever. And so in this game, with Matt Breida as your RB1, Daniel Jones, with no left tackle, has the New York Giants down by just 8 points to the San Francisco 49ers. Now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans will tell you Kenny Pickett is a promising young quarterback with loads of potential. 30-7 at home. Daniel Jones had already put up 12 points in 3 quarters with no left tackle and Matt Breida. I mean, can I even get a Jalen Warren or a Najee Harris? God almighty of Saquon? I get Matt Breida as my RB1, and you're telling me that's a fair game? See, after the game, I refused to look at social media because I was so ticked off. I knew what it was going to be. Well, Daniel Jones is now 1-11 on primetime games. Okay. Brock Purdy is still the second coming of Jesus Christ. Again, whatever. And it's like, what? I ask people this question, and I don't want them to deflect. In what universe would any quarterback win that game against a juggernaut like the 49ers? I just want to know. Which quarterback can you name in history? And don't Tom Brady me because you're full of crap. There's no way you think even Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, I don't care any of them, with no left tackle, with Matt Breida as your RB1, do you honestly think any other quarterback could have won that game? I don't. I think this game went how it was supposed to. 49ers won the game. They dominated up front, and Giants eventually couldn't stop Christian McCaffrey in the end. I mean, again, what is Daniel Jones supposed to do? Is it that he choked in prime time? Is he a terrible thrower of the football? I disagree. I think Daniel Jones did the best that he could with that team in the circumstances that were allowed. And I don't know any other quarterback that could have done anything different. Brian Daboll has given that man a lot of help mentally and probably in the training, but him and Brian Daboll cannot fix Andrew Thomas being out. They cannot fix Saquon Barkley being out. Okay? This game got away from the Giants as it should have. If they would have won this game, oh my gosh, I feel like every Daniel Jones supporter would never need to talk in his favor again. But because there's still a bunch of you morons out there who believe quarterbacks are this, that, and the third, then guys like Daniel Jones get criticized, and he's actually a pretty good quarterback at this point in his career. Sure, one could argue in the first couple of years when he had fumble syndrome, yeah, he wasn't very good sometimes. But you cannot argue the dude didn't have a great year last year, and looks decent this year, but where's his offensive line? And now the one game you need Saquon Barkley, Saquon, newsflash, is not there again. Like Todd Gurley used to do. Like, this stuff matters to quarterbacks. It's okay the 49ers won this game. They did what they were supposed to do. They ran it up late. Giants didn't have enough offensive help. There, that's your game. It's no, well, the Giants had, no. Daniel Jones getting paid $40 million. Yeah, it looks horrible to us. But really, in terms of NFL terms, that's not that big of a contract. Like, quarterbacks are breaking the market. Daniel Jones did not break the market. He did not reset the tone. So $40 million again is a lot in our humble eyes, but to Daniel Jones and the Giants, that's like, oh, cool, like 5th, 6th best quarterback right now because of the way the market went. Like, he didn't reset the market, so like I don't know why people are up in arms about $40 million. I just don't. But in the end, Giants need more line help on both sides of the ball. I know they drafted Kayvon Thibodeau. They need another guard and another tackle, for crying out loud. They need more defensive line help. They need better linebackers. Their team has holes in it. So when the Giants do win games like coming down from 21 points, yeah, that matters. It's impressive. All right, when I come back, we're talking every game in the NFL for week 3. And do not forget, Sunday Night Football and AM Drive 5 is still to come. This is the AM Drive. Do not go anywhere. And if you do, well, I won't know. We'll be right back. The AM Drive on this Friday edition is presented by AgriDime. That's AGRIDime.com. Head there and get the best in quality meats shipped right to your door. Use the code AM Drive for 10% off your order on AgriDime.com. And if you forget what it's called, simply go to MikeandAaronDrive.com, click the logo that looks like the leaf slicer on the cow, and you too can get the best in quality meats, but please use the promo code AM Drive, all caps, no spaces, for 10% off your best quality meats. All right, so for these games this week, Aaron has not provided a best bet for most of them, but like I said, he does have an AM Drive 5. This will be mostly my leans and my assumptions coming into the game. So do not believe that Aaron, and I know some people put stock in this, he lives in Las Vegas, Nevada. lives near the works on the strip. Like the dude knows his stuff. So I'm like the amateur analyst who likes to think like because he was on Twitter for years analyzing sports as a rookie. I'd like to think I know something. And hey, I'm 7-3 on my best on my AM Drive 5 picks. So 70% win rate, not bad for your boy to start. But for this, just keep all that in mind. Keep the context in mind here. All right, let's get to the Falcons and the Detroit Lions. This one is in Detroit. Once again, the Lions are at home after losing their last game to Seattle in pretty interesting fashion, dare I say. The Falcons beat the Packers last week, and I was actually surprised by that. The biggest thing in this game, as the Detroit's favored by 3, the total's at 46.5. Can Atlanta's defense stop this offense in Detroit? And that's a hard question to answer, like yes or no, especially yes. It's going to be Bijan Robinson versus Jahmyr Gibbs in a battle of very highly touted physical freak running backs coming into the draft this year. Jared Goff, to me, at this point in his career, is better than what the game manager that is Desmond Ridder. Falcons defense, to me, is better than the Lions defense. But again, what does that matter? I expect Lions defense to make enough plays. I do think Lions win this game, but I will not tell you my thoughts because I do have an AM Drive 5 pick for this. I know, first thing, right? But I do have this game in my AM Drive 5. Just know I believe the Lions do win this football game, and that's all I'll say for now. The Los Angeles Chargers and the Minnesota Vikings. This one is hysterical on paper and just in history because it's Kirk Cousins against a good team, and the good team is the Chargers. Last year, the Vikings were won 11 games by one score. It was the most in NFL history. Chargers are notoriously bad at choking away games in the clutch. And I know I've always said I'm not so sure if it's just because they're the Chargers per se, but it's just so coincidental. This team is known for that. So it's wild. 28-3 for the Falcons. That's their one laughing point. Chargers have 10 of those, okay? So Vikings are favored, of course, by 1. Go figure. And the total is set at 54. This one almost did make my AM Drive 5, but I ultimately could not trust either of these teams. Both teams are 0-2, and I think the Chargers pass rush, if they do have a defense, it's Joey Bosa, and I think it can get to Kirk Cousins, who has had a pretty tough time on the offensive line this year. Vikings, of course, last played on Thursday against the Eagles when they had to rally to come back, but could not finish the job. And I do believe that Pat O'Connell is a better coach than Brandon Staley is for the Chargers. I do believe the Vikings win 31-26. So my best bet would be Vikings -1. I would just say Vikings money line because I think Vikings do have a better, I hate to say a better team. On paper, the names that pop out are for the Chargers, but Vikings have enough on offense, and they just traded for Cam Akers, who I would assume would be ready for this game. Which I said I don't know if Alexander Madison has looked great so far. I know I drafted him in a couple of leagues this year, so I'm kind of mad about that. But I do believe that Cam Akers can help with the Vikings. Maybe he's a good pass blocker. I know Pat O'Connell apparently had him with the Rams when they won the Super Bowl against the Bengals. So this could be an interesting interesting facet of their game, adding Cam Akers. We will see, but I think Vikings win. You can say, if you think they're going to win, if you think it's going to be a wacky game, just take the money line. But I would just say take the 1. They can win by 3. I think that's fine. I capped it at 31-26 Vikings, personally. And what I think could be a sneaky game of the week, the New Orleans Saints with Derek Carr and a healthy Michael Thomas, and of course Chris Olave, against the Green Bay Packers, who may have Christian Watson coming back for the first time this season. He had been nursing a hamstring issue, and he has been kind of practicing, kind of doing his own stuff, so we'll see. You've got the Packers, who are favored by 1.5 points here. The total is set at 42.5. This game was a late scratch for my AM Drive 5, So I was originally going to say Packers win by 1.5 points. I like the advantage of Lambeau. I like the advantage of Coach Matt LaFleur over that of Dennis Allen. I also believe that Jordan Love is playing pretty well this year. And I do believe that Derek Carr and the Saints, from what I expected them to be, they have not hit their stride yet. Again, helping Michael Thomas, I really like that for the Saints, but I don't like it enough to walk into Lambeau and win that game. I think Matt LaFleur is a very good Tier 2 coach, and I do believe Packers win this game by about a field goal. I've got Packers to win 24-21. I like this to be a playoff atmosphere type game of two teams who, if they catch fire at the right time, could very well be low-key contenders. The Houston Texans with C.J. Stroud will head into Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars, who are still at home, after scoring 9 points against the Kansas City Chiefs. Against C.J. Stroud versus Trevor Lawrence, the Jaguars are favored by 9 points. The total is set at 44.5. So these two teams already have a common opponent, and that common opponent, of course, was my Indianapolis Colts. Jacksonville defeated the Colts in Indianapolis by 10, but that game was very close late until Andre Cisco had other plans by taking out Anthony Richardson. I'm just saying. Houston got their butts kicked by Indianapolis, and that was in Houston. This is a divisional game, so take that with a grain of salt, what I just said about the common matchup there. But if Jacksonville is legitimate, I believe they should win this game handedly. So I capped the game at 27-17, which means I would go with the cover at 9, and that's what I'm going to go with for my best bet here. I don't want to touch this game because it could get kind of weird, but I believe in the Jaguars this year, and I believe in Doug Peterson. I think Texans will find their stride later on in the season when it's too late, but I do believe right now Jaguars are probably a 10 to 13 point better, my favorites, in my opinion. I know that's not saying much about how much I believe in the Jaguars, but like I said, division game. I just believe the Jaguars should win this game comfortably if they are who I think they are. The Denver Broncos and the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins are favored by 6.5. The total is set at 48. This one was also a late scratch on my AM Drive 5. Like as of this morning, I really liked the Dolphins to cover 6.5. Why? Because although Russell Wilson is, I thought, played pretty decently in the first 2 weeks under Sean Payton, although they only scored 16 points against the Raiders, I thought he made some nice plays on the move. I feel like against the Commanders, although Commanders could have a bad defense, I feel like he played pretty well in that game. Like, scoring 33 points for the Broncos is unheard of this side of like Russell Wilson. So I've got the Dolphins, though, offense at home. I think it's going to be great. I think they're going to win 34-20. I was really confident about this game. I believe that Tua is playing very well. I told people, people are going to say, well, if he's healthy, well, concussions can happen to anybody, okay? If you fall flat on your back head, ask Anthony Richardson, the physical freak coming out of college, yeah, you might get concussed. That's what happened to Tua last year. It was mishandled. We all know the story. I believe the Dolphins are showing the league why they're legitimate. I believe Tyreek Hill will have a bounce-back game. I know bounce-back. He had 50 yards and a touchdown on the road in Foxborough, where a fan died, by the way. Shout out to that fan. I know this is random. I'm going to take 5 seconds of silence here for the fan that got involved in the altercation and was punched to his death on site. Yeah, not a good look. I'll rant on that a little bit after this 5-second break. Again, thoughts and prayers to that guy. The 53-year-old. Apparently, he confronted some guy in the stands who was of the opposing team. Some witness got it on video. Thank God. I want to thank that person who not only got that altercation on video, but also was able, instead of just sharing it to social media, said, hey, I better show this to the police because it might help them catch a guy. I know ultimately you cannot eliminate this stuff at sporting events, but there's a way to hire more people in the stadium to keep track of alcohol abuse, because obviously alcohol had to have been involved in this situation. And I'm not a fan. I know basketball games, this does not happen as much as I can remember it happening. But I don't ever see videos like this from the NBA fan base. NFL, every single year, this pops onto your feed saying, oh, look at this brawl. Like, it's not a good thing. I'm not saying every time somebody dies, but stop getting in fights, you idiots. Like, have some high grounds, man. Be professional. Like, we're here to enjoy a game. If you think your team is better than my team, okay, screw yourself, but I don't care. Eventually, I just don't care. Like, we can have a conversation without going to blows. It's just stupid. Football fans are the worst at getting personal. Maybe hockey fans, I don't know enough about hockey. But I do believe football fans are the worst in North America at getting personal. It's just absolutely stupid. It's like in the country battles in like soccer, those guys have national pride on the line, whatever that means. But in these things, like you're like the Patriots against the Dolphins, man, are we really about like we're gonna die over that? That's just sickening on both parties. I know he talked to the guy first. He may have been antagonizing him, whatever. The fact is the dude's dead. No one deserved to die for that. Man, come on. And I know the dude didn't mean to kill him probably by punching him in the head twice, but it's like, come on, man. Like, your fist can be registered weapons, okay? That's a real thing. People are stupid. Anyways, I got Dolphins to cover this game and win 34-20. That was my soap opera for the day. The Tennessee Titans and the Cleveland Browns. This one was at 3 for the longest time, and now it's at 3.5 in favor of the Cleveland Browns, which means people are probably getting on the bandwagon that I am, that Jerome Ford is a nice change of pace back who's still bruising. Kareem Hunt for the Browns is a nice return for them. Remember when Kareem Hunt could have signed with my Colts? Well, that did not happen. Kareem Hunt is back with the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson to me has played pretty good in the first 2 games. I know, I'll say it again. He threw an interception on a pick 6, which was not his fault. Lost 2 fumbles. Not his fault that the freaking Steelers defense is all world, okay? Sometimes you lose those games. Ryan Tannehill stinks, though. He's not a good quarterback. So I think Jerome Ford and Kareem Hunt can fill the void left by Nick Chubb, and probably even more so, in my opinion. I capped this game at Browns 24-17. The total's at 39.5, so I'm right there. My best bet would have been Browns money line, but Titans keeping this close. I know I gave the Browns a touchdown. I could definitely see Browns winning by a field goal late, so I'm still going to go with that Browns money line. Although I don't know if it's at minus 170 anymore. If it went up a hook, it might be a little bit like 180, 190. I'm not sure how that works. Aaron's not here. Forgive me. But I got Browns to win regardless. The Buffalo Bills and the Washington Commanders. The Buffalo Bills are favored by 6 points in this game on the road. Interesting. The total is set at 43. I'm assuming we're still seeing no love for my guy, Sam Howell. And not just because Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator who's secretly trying to become the head coach, in my opinion. The fact is, the Commanders, I thought it played pretty well offensively in the first 2 weeks. I told people the Cardinals' defense is better than what people expect, and I will show you that later on, putting my money where my mouth is on that one. But I do believe that the Commanders, listen, here's the thing. Josh Allen is on the road in this game. He's not in comfortable Buffalo. I know they ran it up on the Raiders. Fantastic for him. I believe Chase Young, who showed up last week, he's expected back after week 3. He showed up in week 2. Dude already had 1.5 sacks. Looked pretty good. And now you're telling me he can tee off on Josh Allen? Oh, yes, sir. Brian Robinson in the run game can keep this one closer than what the Bills want. They can make it ugly if you're a Commanders fan. I know there's a few of those out there, but I'm not sure if they actually exist, but whatever. Hail to the Commanders. Ugh. I do believe the Commanders actually win this game 26-23. But my best bet would be over 43. I cannot put my money on the Commanders to win this game against the Bills, considering how good the Bills did look last week. But again, Bills on the road might be a different animal. So I'm going to go. My pick is the Commanders 26-23. My best bet for your money is just over 43. I think both offenses can score the football. In the battle for the baby horses, that's right. My Indianapolis Colts travel back to Baltimore, to take on the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens are favored by 8 points in this game, and the total is set at 44. Lamar Jackson in this passing attack. I told you guys week 1 he looked pretty good. Week 2, all of a sudden, whoa, Jackson looks pretty good passing. I told you guys that. He looks pretty good. All people see is that they beat the Texans 25-9. Well, he must have sucked. No, he did not. Lamar Jackson looks pretty good already throwing a football, which means whoever their new offensive coordinator is could get a head coaching job very soon if this continues on a trajectory of an upward path. I'm assuming this because Anthony Richardson, after self-reporting a concussion on Sunday and playing through it for 2 plays, I believe, Anthony Richardson missed Thursday's practice. That, of course, was yesterday as the show airs. I'm assuming we're getting Gardner Minshew. Because we are getting Gardner Minshew, Ravens defense is scary at home. And by the way, these teams have a common opponent. The Colts beat the Texans 31-20 on the road, controlled the game the entire time. Ravens beat the Texans 25-9 at home. Keeping that in mind and keeping the fact that Anthony Richardson is not there most likely, and again, I'm assuming Gardner Minshew is the quarterback here. I'm going Ravens 24, Colts 17. My best bet is under 44. I think Ravens defense can do enough. And I do believe in Gardner Minshew. I do believe in Shane Steichen and what they're doing. But for now, give me the slightly under 44. Ravens get a 1-score win. You can even go Colts +8. That's still scaring me, though. It scares me a little bit on that one. All right, the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. The Jets cannot beat the Patriots historically, like outside of Mark Sanchez and Rex Ryan for a couple years. That was nice. Zach Wilson, this is another seeing ghosts game for him. Thankfully, it's not in prime time. It's just a 1 Eastern game. I think Zach Wilson is okay. Because I believe that, I capped this game at Jets 20-17. Last time we saw the Jets at home, they were taking care of the Bills with Aaron Rodgers going down the same game. That matters in my opinion. And I do believe, even though Patriots are favored by 2.5 on the road, the total set at 36.5. I think Jets money line is the play here. I think +125 on the money line. Get it while you can. Don't hate your boy if you don't get it early. This one almost made my AM Drive 5. So I was very confident in the Jets winning this game. It ultimately did not, though. Just to let you know. Carolina Panthers and the Seattle Seahawks in the first of our 4 o'clock Eastern / 1 o'clock regular time for the Vegas friends out there. You've got Bryce Young, who I believe needs to be let loose, but I don't think he will be in this game. It's in Seattle. That place can get loud, in case you didn't know. I doubt Frank Reich, like I said, does that in Seattle, like lets the guy loose. Geno and company should be good. I capped this game at 34-21. I believe the Seahawks get a win here, and I will let you know what my best bet is on that coming up, but just know it made my AM Drive 5, and I pretty much already gave it away. This one also made my AM Drive 5. The Chicago Bears and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs are 12.5-point favorites. The total's at 48. Bears defensive coordinator Alan Williams is gone for at least this season. Remember Matt Eberflus was calling plays. Now, by the way, in case you're wondering, like, oh, that's terrible. No, Matt Eberflus is naturally a defensive coordinator. That's what he was with the Colts. So in order to make Justin Fields better, they brought in a defensive coordinator. Ask the Chargers how that's going. Regardless of that fact, no, Alan Williams is not a weirdo, because apparently the FBI did not raid Hallen Hall, whatever that is. And newsflash, I did not know Charles Peanut Tillman is now a member of the FBI. That's pretty cool. But legal stuff aside, Justin Fields low-key called out his coaches, which is like people asking why he was playing so robotic. Well, you know, my coaches. Whoa, buddy. That didn't look too good. I think Chiefs are healthy. and Chiefs are in Arrowhead. Good luck, Justin Fields. That's all I'll see on that. And this one also made you boys AM Drive 5. I'm going to be sweating at 4 o'clock Eastern, just to let you know. Cowboys and Cardinals. Cowboys are favored by 13. This one might be up to 13.5. Same thing. Totals at 43. Cowboys beat the Giants 40-0. Cardinals had the Giants on the ropes up 21 in the third quarter. This game, to me, could be closer than what you think if James Conner can get going. Josh Dobbs is not good. He's not even average. He may not even be below average, but I think he can do enough. But what is my bets in that game? You'll have to figure it out on the other side, because when I come back, we're talking Sunday Night Football between the Steelers and the Las Vegas Raiders. That sounds stupid as always. And also our AM Drive 5. Remember, Aaron has got his provided as well. Even though he's not here, we wish you the best, sir, and your family. When I come back, you'll still be here. I believe it. We'll be right back. If you want to look your absolute best while playing at maybe your worst, go to shankitsgolf.com. It sounds exactly how it's spelled. Code AMDRIVE for 15% off, all caps, no spaces. When you go there, of course, shop the awesome golf apparel. I know golf's getting very popular. I told you guys on Wednesday, I do not play golf. I would love to play golf, but I don't know where to go. I haven't really looked into it that much. I'm more of a basketball guy when it comes to playing sports. And I play more putt-putt, which, again, I wish there was a pro putt-putt league. There's not. Regardless, if you're playing golf or even putt-putt for that matter, head to shankitsgolf.com. Again, shankitgolf.com. It's exactly how it sounds. If you still do not know because you're a virgin in the ears, mikeandaarondrive.com. But again, click the logo that looks like the Shank It Golf logo up there with the skull and the 2 crossbones, a.k.a. golf clubs. I can't believe I got that right. AM Drive is the promo code for 15% off your order. And for that to be our hashtag, Shankful. I love that. Sunday Night Football on NBC. That's right. Carrie Underwood, Sunday Night Football. As the Steelers take on the Raiders in Las Vegas. Raiders are favored by 2.5 points, and the total is set at 43. This one did make Aaron's AM Drive 5. Steelers' offense is not good. But the question is, can Jimmy G do enough at home? Although there should be a bunch of Steelers fans there. Can Jimmy G do enough at home against the Steelers' defense? Jalen Warren, to me, is better than Najee Harris. I think if the Steelers use him, that could be very good. George Pickens and Kenny Pickett kind of developed this weird little thing in the last game the Steelers played. And, of course, TJ Watt is incredible. I capped this game at Steelers to win 23-17. And, of course, the Raiders are favored by 2.5. The total's at 43. My best bet is Steelers money line at plus 125. But now it's time for our money presented by ShankItGolf.com. Code AMDRIVE for 15% off. It's our AM Drive 5. Are you ready? Because Aaron is not here, I will let Aaron go first. Of course, well, he's not here, so I'm going to have to say his picks, but you get it. Aaron is 5-5 on the season after a where's it at? After a 2-3 week last week. Okay. Aaron's got Oklahoma first half to cover 8 against Cincinnati. I like that pick. Duke and UConn to go over 45. UConn looks decent nowadays. Well, decent in their terms. Florida Gators to cover the 6.5 in the first quarter against whoever Charlotte is. Rice will cover 2 in the game against South Florida. You know, Aaron loves fading South Florida. And, of course, the Raiders will cover the 2.5 outright against the Steelers. on Sunday Night Football. And are you ready for my AM Drive 5 again? Presented by ShankItGolf.com. Code AM Drive for 15% off my order. Well, I hope you're ready for it. I've got Notre Dame money line at plus 130 against the Ohio State Buckeyes. This one is a purely fade Brian Dable and tail fade Ryan Day and tail my guy Sam Hartman, the quarterback, who's got 13 touchdowns to no interceptions and over 1,000 yards passing the season. Notre Dame money line. Falcons versus the Lions. I don't know how this one ends. I just know both teams can kind of score, especially if it's in Detroit. I'm going over 46.5 for Falcons and Lions. And now, this one, I know I told you Cardinals have a good defense, but I tried my best to make the Cowboys spread happen. And each time I did it, I know I eventually capped the game at Cowboys to win by 14. I was like, one of these teams is going to score late. We're going to get a garbage time touchdown from Joshua Dobbs. We're going to get a garbage time touchdown from my guy, Deuce Vaughn. Because of that, I think over 43 is the play. I think we hit 44, 45 and swept the living crap out of it. But that was what made my AM Drive 5 late. I believe Kansas City Chiefs will cover the 12.5 and beat down the Bears at Arrowhead. And I believe because the training wheels are still on Bryce Young, I believe in Seattle, that's a tough place to play. Give me the Seahawks to cover the 6.5 and win that game pretty handedly. All right, guys, that's been it for another great edition of the AM Drive. I know Aaron has not been here the last two shows, and that is absolutely brutal. But we wish that man the best. I'm assuming he'll be here Monday. I don't want to guarantee that, but I'm assuming he'll be here Monday. And even if he's not, just know we'll be back with our best and worst of the weekend. And, of course, all things NFL and college football recaps. For Aaron Crouch, I am Michael Carvelis. Remember to go to MikeandAaronDrive.com to see our socials, shop, sponsors, and YouTube all in one beautiful place. It is Friday. You'll have a great rest of your weekend. And as always, darn tootin' you better drive safe. Bye.